This week on Induction Noise. We finally make our big announcement.
Big announcement! Blah, blah, blah.
Niku is keeping up appearances.
Look, in Fjord sound a bit like a half-word.
Andre visits the red light district.
With exotics, they've got more options now than they've ever had.
Exactly.
And Neil is making Cape Town great again.
The European countries have been putting tariffs on products for years.
Good evening, guys, and welcome back to the Induction Noise podcast. I am Mr. Q. With me, as always, is Neil.
Hello.
Andre.
Hey.
Niku.
Howzit?
And we are back in my office, surrounded by some pretty nice cars, I think, here at Gilmore Collection. Now, if you guys are regular listeners, and I know you all are, obviously, you would have heard us say in last week's episode that we have a big announcement to make, which we are going to make in this episode, but we're going to make you wait for it. So you're going to have to listen to the episode too.
Dim the lights.
Guys,
Gonna
this
make
is
you
how
age
YouTube
a little
works.
bit
This is how we get the retention numbers up, and you know we drag things out a little bit.
Or this is how you get dislikes.
That's probably it.
That just
too.
went over everybody's head.
But Niku's going to do a nice thumbnail for us with a clickbait title that says "Big Announcement," blah blah blah. So we're not telling you when the announcement's happening, but it's happening in this episode. So we'll get to that. But first off, we need to talk about something that I suppose sort of affects me in a way, because I'm obviously working in the motor trade. I don't think it affects us too much because obviously we're in a very different niche segment of the market. But I know that a lot of dealers have felt the pinch, and you probably would have heard in the news that BMW closed, I think it's 17 dealers nationwide that they closed during the course of last year. Volvo's closed over 20 dealerships over the last year. And
The list goes on and on. Eh?
I mean,
It's
those
just
are
a pattern everywhere.
those are just the ones that get mentioned. And the biggest reason for this that they all seem to be giving is the influx of Chinese brands coming to our market. Now, obviously, there's a big political discussion that could be had about how our government has basically sold us to China.
But we're not going to do that.
But we're not going to do that. This is not a political show.
Not yet.
Yet.
No.
We should make a spin-off of it at some stage. I think I think we should have some whiskey action with that.
Political noise.
Political noise,
Oh my word! Here we go. But I
It
mean,
won't be water when we do that.
do you guys even know how many Chinese brands are on the market now?
But before we answer that very important question, a quick shout out to our sponsors over at Master Panel Beaters. Steve and his crew at Master Panel Beaters are amazing at what they do. They are proper car guys, so you know that your car is going to be in good hands when you take it there. But more than that, they're actually approved by a whole bunch of the biggest major manufacturers that sell cars in South Africa. So stuff like your warranties and motor plans and all of that stuff is kept intact if they do work on your car. So if you need any kind of body work, paint work, repair work done to your car, get in touch with Master Panel Beaters today. They will fix it up for you and you'll never know you got hit in the first place. Now back to the episode.
We've got BYM. There's Amoda.
BYD.
There's Cherry. BYD. What did I say?
BYM.
You dyslexic tonight.
I've been sniffing something, but anyway, you've got BYD. You've got GWM. You've got.
There's too many for
Haval,
you to
you've
answer.
got Cherry.
There's 20
Amoda,
cities.
Cherry, and
Technically, MG is also Chinese now.
Photon, MG, LDV,
Jaiko.
There's a bunch of them.
Jaiku.
Jaco, Jolian. No,
that's
the
Haval.
Haval.
But
There's a whole bunch of new ones that's coming. If you look at the new car magazine, there's a whole list of like.
There's a whole bunch of stuff that we'd never heard of that's suddenly driving around on the streets. And I don't know what your guys' experience is, but in terms of value for money, what you get for what you spend, it must be said, the product, it's not as terrible as I'd like to imagine it is. It's actually, some of them are...
They look good.
They look good. I mean, none of them, let's get this on the table from the start, none of them are enthusiasts cars.
No.
They are 100% transport appliances.
Yeah.
But as a daily driving option or a way of getting the family from A to B, as a transport appliance, some of them are pretty bloody good.
Well, and the thing is, though, it's almost like this frog in the hot. Things have changed so quickly. It's like the one moment there was still these, dreary things coming in that are just like kind of feel like tin and they're falling apart.
I mean,
and
do you
whatever.
remember the Cherry QQ?
They were known for being.
It's a joke.
Yeah, but I mean, they were known for being cheap, but they were crap otherwise.
Yeah.
Now
They're still
not
cheap.
just. Yeah, they're still much cheaper, but now they're not just as good in terms of quality. Most of them are better quality in terms of materials and the way they're put together. Yes.
For the price point.
No, not for the price point.
I don't know.
They look well put together. They feel well put together. I just get the feeling it's a little bit of smoke and mirrors, right? I think they don't get me wrong. They well put together. The tech is amazing.
Yeah, the
That's,
tech.
but that's kind of getting annoying.
But
It's,
but
it's
everybody
kind of,
does that.
It's kind of like your
Germans also do that.
But that's kind of the modern car way. Everything
Yes,
is
but
just about the screens.
Yeah, but you get a BYD Shark and the screen does a 360 for you. That's a bit like how many things do you want to make that can break? Instead
but
of
that's just
integrating
gimmicky,
it nicely. And
the design isn't necessarily weird.
what worries me the most, and I'm not saying the cars are bad at all. I think there is a few, at the face of it, good looking ones and probably good driving ones. We've heard once again with the Shark that apparently it's a brilliant vehicle. But and note I said vehicle. Not Bucky. But my worry is in 5 years' time. And we can say the same about Aston Martin DB9 Advantage that's standing here. Driver's seat always looks terrible. Am I correct?
Well, this one doesn't.
It's got 5 kilometers on, that's why I like
Or
it.
it was already fixed.
Yeah. So stuff like that. How is the leather going to really look like after 5 years of use?
That's
right?
the thing. Go and look at stuff like the GWM P Series Buckies. Those things, I've seen them with 110, 120,000 Ks on them, and they still look new and fresh inside.
The game has changed. There are probably exceptions, and maybe nobody knows what it will look like 20 years from now.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
I've got a Toyota that's 30 years old, and it still works the day I got it. You don't know if any of those things are going to work that way.
Yeah.
But, and here's the big but, the opposite, the Japanese and the Germans, you've got the same problem. They're starting to build cars not to the same standard that they used to build cars.
It's because they're building,
In terms of longevity.
they're building them to a price point.
They are. And they're building them to the same price point to compete. So you're sitting at a place where, I actually have some anecdotal examples of people with, modern Toyotas that have issues, with Hiluxes, with things breaking. Like, control arms on a Hilux just breaking just because going over a speed bump. It's like, what do you mean? A Hilux is supposed to be indestructible. Like, how does that happen?
Somewhere, someone also fell off the wagon with the new Prado. Because I've heard the electric motor sits so low in it, your waterway depth is essentially
next to nothing
compared to what a Prado should be, right? Because the motor gets submerged.
Speaking about the Prado, so I had a good chat to the owner after. I chatted him a bit afterward as well. One of our friends of the channel that we know, he's got a BYD Shark that he uses as a daily driver. So he's owned a lot of cars, and what he's had more recently is he's had one of those first edition Prados. Nice looking. I kind of like them. The way
I like
they
them
look.
as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
They look nice. So you had one of those things, and your first thought with buying a Toyota Land Cruiser, Prado, whatever, is, obviously it's going to work like a Swiss watch.
It's a car for life.
Yeah, it's not the most interesting thing, but it's going to work like a Swiss watch, and the quality is going to be top notch in terms of just how the thing's put together, right? He owned one of those before a BYD Shock, and he's like, the car wasn't very well put together. The quality of the carpeting and the stuff inside was just not lacquer. There's a whole bunch of electric things that just didn't work that they couldn't get sorted out. Like they could never fix it. Like the lights didn't work properly, and there's some other things. There were a whole lot of niggles and stuff, that was just not on for a new Toyota. For something that cost more than 1.5 million rand.
Yeah, you're paying a lot of Toyota tax these days.
But he went and bought a BYD Shock for a lot less than that. And he said it's one of the few cars where he's driven it for, I think, a month or two that he's had it, where there's not a single rattle anywhere inside that car. And the carpets and everything is better quality
the
than the
thing is,
Toyota.
you must remember that companies like BYD or Great Wall Motors, we're introduced to them recently. But these companies are extremely, it's the same, we always joke about my scooter, but my scooter has been around for, 10, like a few decades, like decades already.
Internationally,
they're well known. And I mean, you get levels to the game. But the one thing for me that I think begs to be seen is, I mean, I've spent 13 actually my entire working career working for German OEMs, different industry, but all of them German OEMs and a little bit on different sort of little bit downstream work as well. Our industry that I'm in is also experienced like an influx of Chinese products, alternatives. And there's again levels to that, like you have in the car industry. But the one thing that I must say, I think that the existing brands have, I still think like a leg up, is a set in place, a well thought out, well established after sales and service process, customer service process. And the one thing that I thought about when I read, I mean, I think me and you, we read the same article in the car magazine where they listed all these new brands. Every single one of them had like MD so-and-so. And you pick up the names if you're in the car industry, and more or less, this guy's in charge of this company or this guy's there. I mean, and no disrespect to people coming into an industry, we were all new, but to start up something as big as a new brand, that takes a lot of doing. And for me, the emphasis is always on, okay, I'm saving 200,000 Rand now on a purchase price. My concern is, okay, fine, you drive the car for 5-10 years.
Yeah.
Would you be able to even sell it then? What is the sort of running? I think the running cost, everything should be fine. But you're relying on people in the country to provide that service to you. And my question is not actually so much with the technology. I think the technology is actually pretty good if you use it for what, like you said, if you're a commuter or anything like that. I'm wondering, like, we're in a volatile market that is South Africa.
Yeah.
And are these, because it's insane how many new brands are coming in. That means every single one of them needs a guy that knows how to service that thing, or to sell it, or to,
all of them can't survive.
Yeah, and that begs to be seen. I think that's for me one of the questions I have.
Look, I've got limited experience driving Chinese cars. I haven't tried many of them or been in many of them. But what I think they've done right is, as we've mentioned, the quality of the product. First of all, it's a nice place to sit.
Mileage varies, obviously, but there are some that are really good.
There are some that are really, really good. There are some that are less good, but they're still... it's
a lot of bang for buck.
It's a lot of bang for buck, and they're getting closer and closer and sometimes surpassing their Japanese and European counterparts. Where I think they still sometimes fall short is, as Neil mentions, the dealer network and support for them. I know that some people have complained about waiting for parts and trying to find a dealer that's close to them and that kind of thing. But I have also noticed a big drive from those brands to try and rectify those issues because they want to be well established.
At least from a reputational point of view, they selling the fact that we are going to be big and we're going to...
The one thing that I find, and again, it's not all of them that I've seen, but one thing that I find that's a little bit frustrating with some of the Chinese brands is... I don't really want to know, I don't know if ergonomics is the correct word for it, but actual user experience kind of thing.
It looks better on the spec sheet than it feels.
No.
When you sit there.
No, that's not what I mean. I mean, I genuinely can't remember which one it was because there are so many of them, but I had to move one that was parked in front of the showroom a while ago. I think it was a rental car for one of the guests of the hotel. I jump in this thing and I start it up, and the infotainment screen comes on, and I sort of realize very quickly that the air conditioning and everything is run through this touchscreen, which is, first of all, I hate that.
Well, all modern cars do that.
Yeah, all modern cars do that. All of them do that.
I hate all of them.
Yeah, I also. Me
Here's
too.
the problem. This thing takes 30 seconds to boot up, and I actually timed it. It takes 30 seconds to
boot up the iPad.
which doesn't sound like a lot of time.
It's a lot of
But
time.
if you get into a sweltering hot car and you have to wait 30 seconds for the
switch the
iPad to boot up before you can switch on the aircon, that would irritate me very,
it's not
very
gonna
quickly.
work.
I think one of the biggest issues, and we all say I think. One of the biggest issues that I do have with Chinese brands is not actually the brands itself or the build quality or anything like that. It's that, like Neil mentioned, we've kind of only scratched the surface of the Chinese brands. And I think there's a lot better cars out there, but they're all electric. And because we don't have the infrastructure to run those cars here, we're not getting them. So
True.
the
I've heard
current
that from a lot of people.
the current Chinese cars that we getting is all these like small engines, supposedly supposed to be economical cars, but all those motors are quite crap.
All 1500s.
Yeah,
And they're probably all
the
made in the
1500s,
same factory. They're
all made in the same factory, and they're not very efficient. They're not fuel efficient. They actually quite heavy on fuel. If you go and look at what the spec sheet says. And my dad was recently in China, and the cars he showed me there, that was like, this
Pushing
is
the envelope
actually
stuff.
a nice, this is a proper car.
It kind of makes you feel like they're market dumping their lower stuff on us.
Exactly.
They would be. We're
But we don't have the infrastructure to
deal with.
run their proper car. And it's a shame. I mean, not that I want to say I love EVs or whatever like that, but at this point in time, an EV does make sense for a daily commute.
Yeah, I would love it.
It's simple as that. If you have a long commute...
Can I just mention that I think it was season 2, when I said that, I got basically crucified by the three of you.
It's because...
Yeah, just because
Your time was off.
we were just buggering with you. I mean, that's why it's good.
You mentioned the EV thing. Now, I have a slight issue with EVs. Other than the fact that I think it would be a great daily driver and I would genuinely love to have one. I watched a documentary a little while ago, and generally speaking, no, it wasn't on YouTube. It was on some streaming platform. I can't remember where it was. Anyway, I watched a documentary.
Telegram.
Fake news.
It's not fake news, okay?
It is a
The
great
thing is, I'm not one. I'm not one of these guys to jump up and play the environmental card or the ethics card, because I feel that I'm perhaps not the best person to do that. But have you guys seen where the batteries for specifically Chinese EVs come from?
Well, I think it's for everything that has got a battery in it.
Anything you have.
I think we're.
battery in comes from the same place, dude. Because this was also made in China. by the way.
Wait on that point. Your house, right? You are set up for South Africa. What do you have in your garage?
Cars.
Other than cars, against your wall?
Oh, the freezer.
No. It looks like a robot and it runs your freaking house.
Yeah, so I have an inverter.
Yeah,
battery.
and with
And a Chinese battery.
And a Chinese battery.
So is that those batteries made out of seal poop, where cars is made out of actual seals? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
Yes.
We should be. I mean, we should be. I mean, again,
But I
like,
don't need an electric car. I need an inverter.
I think the EV discussion is maybe a different one, not just the Chinese one.
But I mean, honestly, the inverter was installed before I saw this. And
now you just run diesel generator. Like
the thing is
24/7.
Yeah.
it is destruction and unethical treatment of staff like I have never seen or imagined would be possible in this day and age. I mean, they've literally got daily death rates at the factories where factory workers are dying on a daily basis, and it's just like, okay, well, we write off another couple of workers and we'll get some new ones tomorrow.
Any factory has that, right? I mean,
yeah, but
we were talking about
like
watches.
5 minutes since
we
last
were talking about watches the other day, and it was fascinating to me to hear. You guys were saying the woman that was painting.
Yes, they call them the rhodium girls. So in the
the radioactive stuff.
It was in the 40s. So there was these ladies working in the factory, and they used to take a little paintbrush and put the rhodium on the loom for the watches.
And then they basically bones in their face disintegrated from all the
Exactly. So obviously, if you're taking rhodium every day, so there was a whole generation of them were just wiped out.
I mean,
Silent Hill in the factory.
It's a rough place.
Yeah,
It's
nothing new. Any factory's got very toxic.
But he's saying factories don't deal with it, bro. Enjoy your
But
phone.
now, here's the thing. I mean, these Chinese cars are coming into our market, and obviously they are a very tempting proposition for someone who's just looking for a nice
iPad with wheels.
a nice car to get to work and back. And it's clearly damaging the European brands quite badly. And even the Japanese brands are suffering quite badly. So the question then becomes, what do they do other than to build their cars to a price point?
Oh, I mean, they're going to have to move their manufacturing, I think.
No, but also what they do is they
Start sharing platforms.
cooperate with the...
Yeah, there's JVs. They create
There's a
JVs.
bunch of JVs. So the Mini works with one of them, and
Mercedes used to have, there's a manufacturer that used to have a JV with...
BYD's with?
Actually, with Porsche, BYD manufactures a lot of their hybrid tech, I think, is in a variety of mainstream brands these days.
Yeah,
I'm speaking a correction. I'm thinking of Rimac actually.
Yeah,
that sells it. But there's a lot of them. I think their tech is going to be fine.
Rimac I would drive. Now that's a car.
Yeah.
But you know what he drives when he wants to have fun? He's got an F40.
Bugatti.
Whatever, yeah.
He's got an E30 BMW actually.
That too.
Now there we go.
He's a. But I think they're going to have to move their production unless they start putting major tariffs on everything. You're going to have to be
we
forced.
can't say the T word on this.
Tariff. It's such a beautiful word.
Yeah, but I mean, they've been in the industry that I'm working in. That's very common. It's now a buzzword in the media, but that's very common in my industry. And the European countries have been putting tariffs on products for years to protect their industry.
100%.
So I mean, I think it's maybe not just. I mean, you guys. I think you all three mentioned it. But all cars these days are just appliances. They're all just doing the same. None of them are actually doing anything unique or different that differentiates themselves. Except, I would say, Renault. Have you seen and Toyota? But I'm thinking like from a city car point of view.
Generally speaking, the French brands do come up with new and unique ways of breaking down. So,
now we're on the EV train again, but I think from a new car perspective, I don't know if you've seen like the new Renault 5, these things. They at least look pretty cool.
Yeah.
But you can't avoid an EV chat at this point. It's unfortunately part of it.
But that's the sad thing is anyone apart from Toyota and bringing in for the everyday guy. If you're like a guy of our sort of age group, I mean, we own something cool between us. I mean, Andre, you strive. I mean, we always talk about when you bought the 4C and how the timing was right. There isn't really something like that you in that sort of price bracket. If you remember when you bought the car, even adjusted for inflation now a couple of years, is there really something that's really that special that the average Joe can like stretch to a little bit?
Day. Yeah? Somebody would want to collect.
Probably the only ones you could put into that category are stuff like the GR Yaris.
Yeah, but they're also so expensive. I mean, have anyone seen what a Civic Type R costs these days?
Yeah, no,
it's a box.
It's an expensive. Golf GTI as a box.
Yeah, exactly.
Look, in Fjord sound a bit like a half-word. One of the modern cars that I've, talking about prices, that's actually not that badly priced. It's still a lot of money, but is a modern M2. It's about 1.6 or 1.4, I think.
But it is catastrophically
No,
ugly.
you think it's catastrophically
No,
ugly.
I'm not alone.
I quite like it.
I like it.
I like it too.
And it's probably, it's not that I'm saying it's cheap, but on the lower spectrum
Bang
of
for
what
buck,
a
it's
sports
a
car is.
pretty good package. Bang for buck. If you want to go for a performance package and you can be inside of it and you don't have to see it, it's maybe not so bad.
These things for me are just, everything's just moving up market.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything is just like...
You need a hypercar if you want to almost...
Everything like, and we were briefly touching about it, like, I mean, you're into watches, I mean, we sometimes collect Hot Wheels, I mean, you're into music. There's something cool we all like, and I think we collect that you would like to keep for one day. Something that you're going to put somewhere and you're going to take it out and there's a story about it.
50 years from now, it'll still be valuable.
Exactly. But modern homes, cars, these things are just not designed like that anymore.
No.
They're just not. And I think there's an interesting thing around, like, you know,
It's
what
a
is it doing to the
consumerism
psyche?
thing.
The
It's a
psyche to people.
consumerism thing.
Yeah.
There's no value in things.
It's a one-upmanship, you know. It's a constant wanting of more. It's like when Mazda decided that the replacement of the MX-5 won't have more power or faster or whatever than the previous generation of MX-5. That was a good thing, and
People didn't buy it.
you couldn't do that in today's market because everything has to be better and faster than the last one.
More horsepower.
But before we get to that half of the conversation and the modern sort of car dilemma that we are sort of moving on to
That was a
discussing.
segue?
No, it's not a segue. It's a cut in the middle so that we can make the big announcement that we've... No, let's just carry on and we'll make the announcement at the end.
I need to buy myself a scooter. But anyway.
Yes, gentlemen, that was the big announcement.
No, that's
You
not
guys
the
are
big
tuning me
announcement.
up my scooter for the whole of season one, basically.
The big announcement is that a while ago, we started a brand partnership with Rowe Motor Oils and
Hover.
We can now say that after trying some of their product, obviously, we sort of quite like what we have found to the extent
Like
we
Max
are...
Verstappen does, yeah.
Yeah. We are now going to be distributors.
Yes, sir.
We are going to be resellers of their product because it's of such a good quality and we're very impressed with what we've got so far. We're going to be selling it through our website. So there will be more details on that coming. And once it goes live on the website, we will make announcements on the socials and whatever. Niku and his team at Code Pure have been working very hard to get the back end of our online store up and running. But pretty soon, guys who service their own cars, guys with race cars who want fluids and lubricants and all kinds of stuff, additives. I mean, it's a huge catalog of products.
Yeah, I didn't realize how many products it was.
Yeah, you guys have been typing till you
But the
bleed
thing
to
is,
get them all on there.
it's proper class-leading stuff. It's not just also
Yeah.
run. It's
I mean,
some of the best stuff. in the
like we mentioned when Henku was on the show with us, they have the most advanced factory in Europe for this kind of product. So these guys are genuinely delivering
They're the only oil
top-level
company
thing.
with their own racing team, with their own endurance 24 racing team.
their own in-house endurance
And
team.
use it before they have to outsource like China, before we
Yes.
start talking to other Chinese cars again, basically. So we support, no, we like cars in general. German oil.
I thought that was going. I thought that was going in a certain direction.
I'm just pointing in that direction.
Keep down your hands.
That's Usain Bolt, you know?
Keep down your
See, there
hands.
was a Usain Bolt, basically.
Yes,
That was what it was.
yes.
But yeah, that's the exciting announcement.
So, if you like what you hear, we'll get you oiled up.
We'll get you oiled up. We'll
Lubed
get you
up.
lubed. Wait, that's another announcement. But essentially, what this means for you guys, other than the fact that you can now buy oils and lubricants and stuff from us, it means that we will be able to fund more and better content for the channel.
Do cooler things.
To do cooler stuff.
things.
Because all the stuff that we're doing kind of gets funded out of our own pockets, and it's not a cheap exercise sometimes. So we're going to be able to do some cool stuff. Finally.
Anyways, buy oil, save a seal.
Buy your oil, save seal.
Yeah, because you don't have to buy batteries, so it's going in your combustion engine.
That's
Yeah, exactly. You're helping out. I mean, the people that you're worried about in the mines.
We're helping out the
So-
workers in the battery factories by selling
There we go.
oil.
So buy a pint of oil, save a child. Basically, is what you say.
We said announcement number 2. We have been revoked of having any right of distributing any motor oil.
It was a brief exercise and it was fun while it lasted, but unfortunately...
Orders will be fulfilled that you placed in the last 30 seconds and then no more.
So moving swiftly on, modern cars, guys. I mean, in the back of the car magazine... sorry.
Wow, is that our board yard for modern cars?
Modern cars. Like,
You go into the back of the car magazine and it lists all the cars that are currently on sale and on the market in South Africa and all their stats and all of that stuff. And it's great. And I used to, when I was a little kid, I'd go through there and I go, ooh, that's cool and that's cool and that's a cool price for that.
to make my
And
own
you get all
comparative
this stuff.
tests.
You do your own comparative tests with all the specs and stuff. And you would kind of pick out a couple of cars that, one day I want to own one of those.
To own, yeah.
And for a while now, I have said that there's nothing new on the market that I really have a desire to have.
Yeah. That you will work extra time for to be able to drive a car.
But
It's strange. Everything I would want is older.
Yeah. It already
But here's
exists.
the thing.
It's not going to be new.
we can go and buy older classics cars. I mean, we've got older classic cars in here, and they're brilliant. But in 10 to 20 years' time from now, I don't think the classic car industry is going to exist almost, because
No, I don't. No.
I think the question is like, do you think like a new car that's available today? Let's. I mean, there is some
new cars
performance.
added to it. Is more the point.
Yeah, exactly. I said to you guys, like, my theory is anything newer than the mid 2010s will not. I doubt they'll fall into that category. I think we reached peak car in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
From a quality point of view in some brands.
I think
like,
we can exclude like the exotics from that.
yes,
'Cause I mean,
normal runarounds.
Ferraris, Porsches,
Yeah, of course,
those kind of
they'll keep
things.
on.
Normal
are-
manufacturers that are within reach of
I'm talking about like
a salary man.
Yeah.
the Ford Granadas, the BMW E39s and stuff that we chatted about in the last week's podcast. Those cars aren't, or those models are not being replaced with stuff that is going to have classic status.
Because we do come back again to the electrification and the tech and all this stuff added.
Yeah.
And that makes it just so complicated, and it makes it a commodity.
Redundant
It
eventually.
makes it something that is going to expire. And it's not going to be economical to
Cars are built to a price point, as we said, and by doing that, they can't last. I mean, remember back in the day when you open a bonnet on a BMW and the valve cover was metal. When was the last time you saw a metal valve cover on anything?
I remember my grandfather.
mid-2000s off a V6.
I remember my grandpa like opening the BMW bonnet when it flipped the other way, right? So
Yes.
like the 5 series, it flipped the other way. Like there was.
And it had these like double hinges and stuff. It was this properly designed.
And I think you can see that. You can see that through how seemingly mundane everyday cars are. If you find that we touched on it, I think in the last episode, is if you find one with a low mileage, they are going for stupid money. They're going for stupid money. Like
because it reminds you of a time that things were simpler.
I mean, things like city golfs. Have you guys seen what guys are charging for city golfs these days? Low mileage or
It's ridiculous.
It's great because it's this nostalgic thing, but I think it's also a case of actually there's nothing really like that that's around anymore. The only car, I'll tell you one thing, the only car that I looked at the other day, brand new. Of course, I do like BMW. I think from a new car perspective, I do like what they bring out. I actually really like the new Duster. And if you touch on the new Renault Duster,
Renault.
Yeah.
it looks
pretty
really, really cool.
That's pretty cool.
Sorry, it is a cool car, but I'm confused. What
What
does
does it have to do
the
with BMW?
BMW have to do with the Duster?
No, I'm just saying, like, I like all the new. I've got in general. If you ask me, like, what car I like BMW,
Yes.
but I like the new X1, for instance. I like the new X3.
So I was also
but,
trying to figure out what a BMW does to it.
no, but I'm saying, like, from another sort of like a general. I'm talking about in the end. The BMW, of course, is also, if you look at a new X1, you're talking 700,000-800,000 rand, right? If we were referring to, maybe I should have elaborated, it's late at night. Something that's a bit more in the price range of the everyday person.
Yeah.
A new Duster looks pretty cool. It's pretty capable off-road. You can do a couple of things to it.
I like
and
it.
it's something quite unique.
They're cool
Yeah.
cars.
Yeah.
I must admit, I agree with you.
I like them.
Yeah.
But here's my biggest problem with modern cars. I mean, I drove a while ago a fairly newish BMW. It's not even a current car anymore. But the driver aids that they've got on them, they just drive you up the wall.
Yeah, but
I mean, don't change your lane. Don't.
Yeah.
Well, you
That's-
can switch some of these things off.
You can
but-
switch them off,
But it's getting
you
harder
have
and
to
harder
switch them
to get it off.
every time you get in the car.
And does it really help?
No.
I can't
It-
seem to
it
think
does
that it
seem-
reduces any sort of...
It seems to me like
It gives you a
car
false sense of-
manufacturers and the guys who legislate them into doing this stupid stuff have got it into their heads that driving a car is the most complicated thing that you could possibly imagine.
And actually, you just need to concentrate.
Actually, you just need to concentrate. So if you had less screens and a button for your aircon rather than 5 menus and
Keep your
stuff,
eyeballs on the road.
you could look at the road and see where you're going, and you won't crash into stuff without things beeping and
You won't
boning
need
at you.
auto braking to brake on your behalf because you're picking up your latte.
It's not a case of give us extra driver aids. It's a question of give us less shit that distracts us and get on with the business of driving.
It's also
We have
just...
simply solved the car industry in like 20 minutes. There we go,
Every
done.
single time, like I drive like I think a lot about should I sell my car, should I sell my car? And every single time I drive it, and there's something about the complexity about it, and I think it's got to do with everything with our cell phones or cars. It's supposed to make things easier. You take the fun out of everything.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the thing where cars shouldn't be an appliance.
Yeah.
I think like if car manufacturers were smart, build something that's a
Interesting.
bare bones one. Like, put freaking winding, sell us like let BMW create like a 218 bare bones freaking winding mirrors that people can take racing or whatever. That
A lightweight thing.
Lightweight thing.
stripped out.
Toyota did that a couple of years ago, but it never came to our market. I don't know if you ever saw it, but they did a version of the Toyota 86 for the Japanese market, which was intended to go to the sort of
Race cars.
race cars
To be
and then
rebuilt.
also to the modification industry.
Yes.
So it had black plastic bumpers, it had steel wheels on it, bare bones interior.
I've seen some AO where they've done that with some Photoshop with a Porsche and everything.
But that's
cool.
based on, who else did it? Is Subaru and Mitsubishi did that. They brought out Evolution and STI versions with steel rims, winding windows, because they knew it was either going to the modification industry or it was going to be built by rally teams.
Yeah.
It didn't have the top of the range, apparently, from what I heard recently. It didn't even have the top of the range brake kits on it.
Because they're gonna put on their own brakes in any case. They're
stuff
gonna
out.
put
So
Brembos and
it's
stuff.
got the proper drivetrain in it,
Yeah.
and that's it. You can fiddle around with it.
That's brilliant.
I do think this is once again a thing where our market we also missing out in some cars. I do feel like if you go and do direct conversions of what they pay in America for an American muscle car, for example, for a
yeah,
Mustang
it's cheap there.
or a Camaro or even a Corvette, it's actually quite cheap there.
Very cheap there.
There it kind of makes sense, and there you can still be excited for a car. They also have the 400Z,
Yes.
the Supra at a decent-ish price. So I think once again we kind of talking at a market issue where if we could have, quite frankly, the Mustang Dark Horse or whatever that we have here now, that's if you think of modern cars, that's kind of exciting.
Yes.
It's not quite my thing, but that's the kind of car
Yes,
that's
but
relatively
it's at
exciting.
least exciting.
But
Yeah,
It's the
I
kind of
like
car
it.
that people would
That is
maybe-
something I
It's
would.
actually quite funny that he mentions the Dark Horse because I was just thinking the other day, I'm not the biggest Mustang fan,
You like that?
but they had those two Dark Horses at Neisner, and they're bloody good-looking things.
Yeah, they sound nice.
They sound good
really
as well.
nice. It's the first Mustang that I actually would buy.
Yeah.
Would I pay 1.6, 1.7, whatever they cost?
That's what
million
M2 costs,
for
eh?
it?
It's what M2 cost. That's,
Okay,
that's
Nico.
fair enough.
M2 or a
M2 or a
No, that's easy, M2.
Is it?
okay.
M2. Yeah, no, 100% M2.
It would
M2
be
for
very
that.
difficult for me.
Let's then take the Dark Horse out of the equation because the new Mustang looks kind of the same and it's still a good looking car and that's a bar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a
Not a
bar.
lot of money.
It's just crazy that like we have to talk about like a
Million
Yeah,
rand.
bars.
million rand is like, you know, where you want, if you want anything
Same
decent.
with the Mark V Supra. That was also a million rand car. Bargain.
I must say
It's-
the Supra did hold on to its value quite nicely.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
They're still selling for pretty decent money.
So Toyota makes a few bangers. Toyota makes a few cars that are cool. I think even the 86, we've spoken about that before. The GR Yaris and even the Supra. It's a pretty cool car. I
I
think.
saw a blue one now actually on the way here to you this evening.
But the thing is, all the cars that I like, or most of them, are cars that are reaching end of life.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's replacing them that I like necessarily.
Yeah.
There's some inklings of hope, like the new Celica, which I've seen all these renderings. They're talking about a Celica 4-cylinder turbo.
Are we actually going to get it though?
yeah, so is Honda with the Prelude. The Prelude looks amazing, but then they put a freaking hybrid engine, like a CVT in it. Looks
Yeah,
you see the new
CVT.
Prelude.
No, I haven't seen that, but the
actually
CVT.
cool.
Yeah, you were talking about peak cars for you were like mid 2000s, and I would like to extend that to 2015. If I look at cars that was built in 2015, there's at least 2016, 20. Yeah, let's go
Let
out
me guess.
to
Let me
like,
guess. This is the Julia topic. You want to somehow fit the Julia in there, right?
it's about 20. Yeah, cool. 2016,
Of
2018.
course,
But
I'm not
let's
making a
call it
blanket statement
2018,
with it.
right?
Like-
But I mean, if I think of cars that's depreciated quite massively, my immediately first car that I would go to is I would really love a 4C, but I can't buy them because A, you can't get them, and B, they stupid expensive now. But that would be my car, like in 10 or 15 years, if I really have the money and I can buy it, I really want it, or when everyone pops up that I can afford. That's one of the cars that I want. But if I look at stuff that's still depreciating, AMG GTS, under $1 million car. I love them. I know you don't really like them that much, but
the biggest fan.
They look freaking nice.
that's a brilliant
They are
car.
beautiful.
Julia QV, brilliant car, under $1 million. 800-ish thousand.
Yeah.
And,
So there's
and-
still some cool cars that were made roughly in that era, some of them. But
Yeah,
my problem
no,
is I
of course
still
not.
love them. You can still
Yeah.
buy new Giulia QV. But that's end of life. The last ones are coming out now. And then
Yeah.
what are they replaced with? Some new platform that's more electrified and
Yeah.
stuff. And
Hopefully it changes. Let's see what
Yeah,
happens now.
hopefully it
Right?
changes.
Because I mean, all the car manufacturers, I think it's like, you know, the same. We're talking about the movie industry when certain sort of movies were made. You know, we kind of like they always talk about, you know, again, politics noise. Check out our podcast coming soon. But you know what they call like the with certain, you know, trends and things from the early 2020s. They said like unfortunately we're kind of like still dealing with that when the movies are coming out now. But with cars now, like legislation is like people are saying like, hang on, we're pricing ourselves out of the market completely because the average consumer can't even afford the average EV, which we're all supposed to buy or we're all forced to buy. And now what's going to happen? What else are they going to put on there? So maybe actually, you know, they might bring back some old tech, you know, that's tried and tested, and maybe we'll get some bare bones cars again. That's actually nice to drive.
Here's the question.
And look, unfortunately, and unfortunately in that, the current cars that us as enthusiasts look at is 3 million to 6 million rand cars. It's Ferraris, it's Aston Martins, it's because there's no
6 to 8 million if you're looking.
a car that really blows your hair back is that kind of money.
it's, you know, it's not because of the money. It's just because of design. The design is actually there. The theater is there. The lust after it is there. There's no Honda S2000 anymore.
No.
There's
This is something that really gets your heart racing at a price point that's not crazy.
I mean, you had, remember when BMW, when the E46, 330. Remember when the 330 diesel came out? Like everyone's like raving. Like that car was, or the 530 with BMW, like that sort of, the 325, 330s were proper performance cars. Decent. I mean, you had all the major manufacturers had sort of not your Halo
Not
car,
the M Halo
not the M
cars.
Halo, but you had like an internal
But a
car.
super saloon that's kind of there. Almost like the 540, the M5.
Yes.
I do kind of like, and I saw it on the BMW option when you spec a BMW now.
What colour is
It
your
might
M2?
it might be a bit, let's call it a bit flash or a bit,
Viola orange.
or a bit Timu or whatever the hell you want to call it. But I do kind of like the fact that BMW is kind of having those Mzansi spec cars.
Yes.
Because even though it's just a 318, at least it looks exciting and it's trying to be something else other than just a bland old C-Class or a bland old 3 Series. Yes, it's a bit, you put an M badge on your non-M car. You can't beat them down for not trying.
Yeah, exactly.
But one of the bigger problems for me also is, and it's part of the whole consumerism thing, right? If you go back to the car magazine of, look at that, there's a Porsche 993 on there. That was like
Insert picture here.
So I'm just looking at a 90s Porsche. So mid-90s, go pick up a car magazine from the mid-90s. You go look at the back of it and you see how many different cars were for sale and how many different models of each car there were for sale. So I did this a few months ago. Looked at the back of the car magazine and I counted which car manufacturer has the most models. And I'm trying to remember now whether it was BMW or Mercedes.
I would also think.
I think it was Mercedes. But it was something like 27 or 28 different models.
No.
Like model ranges, right? So it means...
It's not even variations.
Yeah, exactly. So in each... Well, some of them only have 1 or 2 cars, but some of them have multiple cars in there, different engine size and stuff. But it's almost like, manufacturers feel that they have to give all this choice to everyone because they need to. It's this culture where I want something exactly, individual. It needs to be for me and it needs to be perfect, and I'll spend lots of money for that. But once again, pandering to people with lots of money because the cheapest Merc is many hundreds of thousands.
But do you not
of
think, we're talking about cost earlier. 27 variations.
that's expensive.
How every single one of them, of course they can say this all cross-platform.
But there's still work you have to do.
27 body molds, it's 27
Exactly.
dashboards.
There was a W123 and there was a S-Class. When I was a kid, you had a W123 or you had a 280 SE or a 300 SE or a 500 SE. That's it. You had 2 or 3 engine models. That's it. 7 different possible Mercedes cars you could buy. Maybe there's a manual or auto option.
Yeah.
But other than that, those were the cars. You had a 200, you had a 230, you had a 300, and then you got a say 280 AC and say 500 AC, whatever. That was it.
It's kind of like going to a fine dining restaurant and having like a 13-course meal. I don't want just a bite of the steak. I want that whole steak.
Yeah.
It's over before I've enjoyed it. It's focus on that thing, please.
No.
But now,
Good food made real good.
Yes.
What's that?
here's
Yeah, exactly. Taste for life. Taste for life.
sponsorship apply to Mr. Q at
Send burgers too.
Induction. So here's the question that I want to pose to you guys.
Yeah.
As car enthusiasts,
Yes.
do you agree with me that we are to blame?
No.
What a
Yes.
blanket statement is that?
For yourself, man.
No.
Speak for yourself, man.
Listen to me.
Oh, why are we to blame?
Oh, I'm poor. Sorry, I couldn't buy that car back in the day.
It's not about being poor or anything like that.
Okay.
The fact of the matter is, generally speaking, we don't buy new cars.
Exactly,
So
because
you're
I'm
exactly
poor.
saying what he said. You don't
it's
like
not-
my car since you're
Not because we're poor, but because if I have a
we
million
don't have
rand,
money.
if I have $1 million to spend,
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy a $1 million GTI Golf. I'm going to see what I can buy in the secondhand market for $1 million to get a better car.
Because you're not an
I'm an
idiot.
enthusiast, because I love cars and I would take the risk of buying a used car and getting a better car over buying a new, safe Golf.
Yes, but that's because
But manufacturers do not build cars for the second-hand market. They build them for new car buyers. And new car buyers couldn't give a crap what it drives.
I don't think they even think about only few guys really think about the enthusiasts these days.
And if you go and look,
the enthusiasts don't make their money.
You mentioned the old car magazines. Go and look at old car magazines. Go and look at old car advertising.
Oh, yes.
They would be talking about the engine, the gearbox, the number of horsepower it's got, how much torque it's got, the shape of the torque curve.
Limited
you go look at
whatever.
You go look at a new car ad. It's got wireless charging. This is how big the screen is, and it has a camera.
I've actually seen it. Only the supercars. So there'd be an ad for, let's say there's a Bentley ad, and there's a Porsche ad, and there's a Lambo ad, whatever. They would have 0 to 100 in so many seconds, and this is the speed, like very limited info, but you get the performance info there.
The only statistic you will find on a new car advert today is the fuel consumption.
Can I also just add there? If you think about a car, let's say for instance the new Golf GTI, I mean the 8.5 I think is universally, people say it's a quick car. I mean I watched a comparison between the 8.5R and the new Auto GR Corolla. The 8.5R smokes it completely, it smokes it. But look at the car manufacturers and look at who they're using to market the products. I mean, I remember going to we spoke about this before. I remember going to car launch with my dad, the Golf 5 GTI. We all got there, you got a cap, and to this day, I want the Golf 5 GTI because of that experience. That's why I bought the 350Z, because I, as a 14-year-old, got spun around by the guys from Top Car on it, and I bought one now. Now,
but
it's
now
influencers. I do not know. I don't want to clutch kick it. I won't never clutch kick it. But now, a car, I think we're all still giddy and we're still kids inside in that perspective. Now, it's the same. You know what one of the biggest things I think for the GT80, when the GT86 Toyota came out, it's because Jeremy Clarkson gave it
the nod.
Gave it a nod of approval.
Yeah.
Look at what the car manufacturers are doing now. I mean, a lot of them in South Africa to market a car. They send it to a normal influencer that sells beauty products. No disrespect to it, but you're not going to.
We are open to road tests if anyone wants to send us a car.
We're open to road tests if they want to sell to enthusiasts. Then let other enthusiasts test it.
Beauty products you want to distribute.
Let more enthusiasts try it and review the car.
I think the sad truth is, and I think you've kind of hit the nail on the head there. The manufacturers care about enthusiasts who have lots of money.
Yeah.
And they have lots of options, right? Enthusiasts with big money.
That's what I said at the beginning. You have to kind of discount exotics from this conversation.
But what I'm trying to
they're a different kind of thing.
With exotics, they've got more options now than they've ever had.
Exactly.
Yeah. You've got more hypercars today than you've ever had.
One-off brands.
Right? And even the existing supercar guys, there's so many options: Ferraris, Lambos, everything in between, and other Audis and all sorts of things you can buy. But so manufacturers care about enthusiasts who have lots of money. They don't really care about enthusiasts who don't have big money, because they can't really build anything for them. And I think that's what they're saying. The problem is that
even if they did, we wouldn't buy them.
But
I'm not going to lie.
No, it's not because we don't have the money.
Yes, it is.
It's because we know for that money, I could buy something else on the used market.
If you had enough money, you could buy that and something else, but you don't.
Yeah, but you wouldn't.
I would buy, if you look at what is the average family man, what was enthusiast cars back in the day? They were four-door saloons. You talked about your Granada.
Yeah.
But you're saying, you'll buy something on the second-hand market. I think it's just because there isn't really something. If you look at a 330, I would love a 340 BMW. But the 340 X-Drive, M340.
Yes,
again, we're talking about more than $1 million. So I'm sorry, I can't justify or afford that.
Go and look at manufacturers who have done it and who have tried to bring out an enthusiast car at an affordable price point.
Ooh.
You had Mazda bring out the MX-5, right? The new MX-5 was a flash in the pan. And before long, they didn't even bring the manual to South Africa anymore because no one bought the frickin' thing. You had Toyota bring out the 86, and it was a sales disaster. Everyone thought it was going to run away and be this massive success. No one bought it.
I don't agree with that. I think you're looking at it. What is your expectation? Do you want it? We want them to sell 100,000 units. It's not
I'm
a car
not
that's
saying
going to
they're going to sell
100,000
100,000 units, but
It's also, I mean, you have to consider where the market is in general. I think back then when these cars were popular, no one was buying SUVs. Everyone was still buying sedans. Now there's an obsession with SUVs.
The game has changed a lot.
To give you a real world,
people don't drive cars, I think, in general anymore.
to give you a real world example, a new GT86 today is 800 and odd thousand rand, right? For that money, you can buy a 997 Carrera S. You, as an enthusiast, which one are you going to buy?
But that brings me back to the point.
Based on what I like.
It's because I don't have money. If I had money now, I'd go and buy a GT3 RS.
I think it's also the fact
But
that
it's the same amount of money. It's 800 grand for a GT86 or 800 grand for a Carrera S.
So the issue is money.
But what is
Which one are you gonna buy?
if I need to buy a car? Let me say, if I needed to buy a car now, it's like, what is aboutism? Like let's write ourselves a letter. If I need to buy a car that I can still daily drive every day, that I want to take to the track, that I'm going to go and enter into Samola Hill
And
drive,
you've maybe got a car allowance that covers all the stuff
then
you can claim back and whatever.
Then I'd buy the 86. Then I'd buy the 86. If it was a third car I have to buy,
Yeah.
or a second car, or if it's a toy,
it's a different story.
it's the Porsche.
100%.
If it's like my situation where it's the only car I have to buy, I mean, quite frankly, then I'll buy like a new Civic Type R, to be very honest, at that price point.
Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but leave your comments on the socials because
I think what you're
It's an
saying
interesting
is-
discussion point.
Yeah,
though.
but what you're saying is we are such big car nerds and petrol heads that we will always find more value in something
But
that's
that's the
used
thing.
but that's just, we are really, really enthusiastic.
Chris Harris called the 86, the new one, a budget GT3.
it is.
Yeah.
It's a brilliant car. I've driven it, and everything that was wrong with the first gen
Fixed.
86, they fixed.
So
And
why would you buy the Porsche?
And everything that was good
He doesn't have one for sale. He doesn't have 86 for sale at the time.
in everything that was good about the old one, they've kept in the new one. It's a brilliant car. But if I have to write the check, and
You'll find it what will cost the
another
Porsche.
real world example, since you guys are taking the piss out of me for trying to sell cars,
Don't take
But-
the piss.
for 800 grand, I can buy a GT86, or I can save 200 grand and buy a DB9.
Yeah, but you're going to be on the side of the road while I'm doing Sututu
You're not.
drifting.
And you're going to have to do two extra jobs to run the car.
And you're
You're
going to
not.
have torque slip in fifth gear.
I hear
It's
you.
a fucking ZF automatic. You're not gonna have torque slip.
it depends very much of where you are economically, from a financial
I
point
think
of
it
view.
depends a lot on how risk averse you are.
Yes.
Well, and your use case of it,
Yeah.
right?
And your
if
use
you,
case.
If you're going to be commuting to Somerset West to here every day,
Yeah, then I
right?
can't.
You're not going to buy that even
No.
at 500,000 rand because it's going to ruin you.
But I wouldn't even buy the GT86.
What would you buy then?
I'd buy a Jaguar station wagon
Diesel.
that costs nothing and costs nothing to run.
Go on a lekker holiday for 800k.
Except the new injectors that you need.
100%.
Yeah, and complaining every week that it's broken.
It's not broken. It's,
But what I'm-
it's
what I'm-
just
what I'm saying
ill-
is-
Your backside is itching for something.
There are different
That's
different
also true.
strokes for different folks, right? So, if you ask me what I'll buy for R1 million, and I'll be like, Julia QV is always going to be up there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I had a job where I had to drive a lot and I had to put big miles on and all sorts of stuff, I would honestly consider, and I get like an allowance and all sorts of things, I would consider buying a BYD Shark
That's it.
Yeah.
hybrid.
I'm out.
Because,
me too. I would too.
Because the thing costs nothing to run. Everything's covered, blah, blah, blah. It drives itself, whatever. And, you're going to save so much money every year, you can afford to go racing something else.
Because of our infrastructure, the issue is a BYD Shark is just also not... Yes, I know it's got the generator motor that's anyways charging the batteries or whatever. But what they don't say is where your speed limit is capped once that generator motor is running.
Yeah.
So
So what is it capped?
I think it's like 80 kilometers an hour or something like that. I don't know.
So serious?
Well, no, don't take this as a quote.
don't
But
take it
I've
as
just
that,
seen and it's me being lazy not reading the full thing. I've just seen where
don't
they
think
show
that's
like once some of these the MG was a good example of it. Is after a specific point, your power is capped, and it does the same.
pains.
It does the same with the electric motor in the BYD Shark, and once that essentially 1.5 liter motor or whatever it is kicks in, you've only got the power of that motor, and it can't lug that entire thing.
I can't go that fast, but it's a 135 kilowatt engine. It's not that it's got.
I'm going to Google it now. It's fine. But my point is,
it's still like over 2 tons.
exactly.
It's a big car.
But my point is, once again, if our infrastructure is correct, those type of cars start making sense.
Yeah.
I would $4 million go for the certain
It's
type
more
of.
an example of. It's more an example of you can have very, very different cars depending on what your. I would honestly, for that money, I would probably, on balance, I'll probably buy like a diesel Raptor or something.
Yeah.
Because
It's also freaking interesting.
does
And you know what? It's nice to drive something interesting. I think
Yeah,
people also
but
sometimes
different.
find it is. I think also like what's sad is like a lot of guys like I think cars used to be like something a little bit of expression of everyone's personality. And it's becoming less like that.
it's hard to find a car that's affordable that can be an expression of. You know,
I think in your case, it's just hard to find a car that actually expresses your personality because there's a lot.
That's why he's got so many. That's why he's got so many of them.
cars in every time, bro.
Well, guys, it's been fun.
Sorry, just hold on.
Yes.
Wait, here it
The
comes. Here
BYD
it comes.
Shark can operate in electric mode, not speed limited. Petrol engine primary role is to charge the LFP battery pack, and it can only directly drive the front wheels at speeds higher than 70 kilometers an hour. Wait, no, that's
Higher
not right.
than 70.
Yeah, that's higher.
Yeah. So it's the other way around.
Are you Googling backwards?
I don't know. Google is.
But I did see a drag race
Between a Ranger
that
and
the
a
guys
BYD.
did, that Auto Trader, I think it was Auto Trader, of course, it said it.
Auto Trader.
They did
think
the
it was Auto
BYD
Trader,
Shark
yeah.
versus the Ranger.
With our friend Sam.
Whacked it
wow.
every time.
If
And
Auto Trader wants to do any drag races
look,
with
I mean,
us, we're
obviously
down.
there's things
by
like
the way.
when they started, the
Just
power was
throwing it
at
out there.
90, and after those runs, the power was at like 70 or whatever. Because the one thing with those electric things are, if you hammer it, it's going to charge the power, right?
It's a cool party trick though.
But the thing is frippin' quick.
It's quick.
It's limited at 160. So top speed is 160. But I
I mean,
guess
also
the-
you
But
don't really
honestly,
wanna
for
go.
something that size with that kind of top-heavy
2.8
topology, I think capping it at 160 is actually
a good idea,
responsible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
But guys, Nico will Google and
No, I
we
can't
will
find it.
we
I
will
don't know.
find it and we'll announce it in the next
I think
episode. So
it-
that's a good reason to listen.
Nico will go and
I
update the
think it was
Wikipedia
probably
entry.
one of
and-
those towing stuff or whatever. But
I
I,
think
know
it's the towing.
I think it's in towing, but I don't know. But anyways, it caps the battery there. But it doesn't matter. It's a cool bucky. I'll give it that. It's a cool bucky. It looks cool.
So it's gone from being a vehicle to being a bucky.
It's a cool vehicle, and it can run your house.
That's
And it can
super
run
cool.
the house.
You plug it in.
Vehicle to grid is cool.
But
I'll still rather buy a Raptor.
I'd still rather buy a Raptor.
So will all of us, man. So will all of us.
And that's
Bet
why
you we can.
that's why Ford will keep making it. Guys, it's been fun. We will catch you next week. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe.
Smash the subscribe button.
Smash the subscribe button. Go check out our website. It's Induction Noise with a double N in the middle. Inductionnoise.co.za. And soon you will be able to buy your oils and lubes and t-shirts. We're going to do t-shirts.
We are talking about automotive lubricants.
Automotive
In
lubricants.
case you didn't hear the rest.
Well,
of
they're
it. So-
multi-purpose, so you know.
And for the electric owners, there will be brake cleaner if you need to do a brake replacement. Because frankly, that's all you need to do. On an electric
and
car.
we'll do tissues and hand cream
Also
and that
brake
kind of
fluid.
stuff for the electric car owners.
Well, on that bombshell, stay classy.
Stay
Classy
classy.
San Diego.
Dollar what you must.
Dollar, what you guys.
Hey, slaat hy nou hard.